Hiya there folks, welcome to Boating on a Budget with me, the tight Yorkshireman.
And me, Dawn.
We're back to painting.
We are.
It's been a little while we finished our trip and got the boat back to our home mooring. But as you can possibly see, we've already started masking up and everything. So if you have a quick look at how we got the masking up done, we'll get everything together and we'll get some more paint on.
Yes.
The first step was to measure up and mark out where we needed to put the masking tape. Previous to this, we had a little experiment and worked out that we wanted our border to be about 4 inches or 10 centimetres deep. Therefore it was a case of just working around the boat, marking off that 4 inches at regular intervals so that when it came to put the masking tape on, we could basically just join those dots up. Whilst we've been out travelling around on the boat, we looked closely at the other boats that we saw along the way and noticed that most of them had their hatch doors also painted to match the border. This is a detail that we've decided to include in our paint job as well. We decided that applying the masking tape was definitely a 2-person job. The way that we tackled it is that one of us held the tape at the start point, the other one unwound the tape to the required length, then carefully eyeing it up to the dotted lines, we applied the tape and smoothed it off. Where we only needed to apply short lengths of tape, we found it relatively simple. However, it became a lot trickier when we were doing the longer runs. And in all honesty, it took us 2 or 3 attempts before we were happy we got that nice straight line with the crisp edges that we needed. Overall, the masking up procedure took us quite a long time. It was something that we needed to make sure we got a keen eye for detail on, as obviously this is a crucial part of the paint job. If we messed these lines up and things didn't look right, it would ruin the whole paint job and make all the work that we've done pointless. final part of the masking up process is cutting the masking tape to make sure you get a nice, square, clean edge. The technique that you see me using here is one that I'd seen on some of John Bernard's videos, and I would highly recommend watching those videos if you're intending to paint a boat yourself. He gives out lots of tips and techniques that he uses when painting boats, and at the end of the day, he's a professional boat painter, so he knows what he's talking about. We're going to use the same technique as we did last time, which is the laying off. So Dawn rollers the paint on, I then go over it with the good quality brush, and that leaves a nice flat surface that should give that really good glossy finish. Part of the key to this is obviously we have to work fairly quickly because I need to get the laying off done before the paint starts to dry, which the initial drying literally starts within minutes. So we can't hang about.
There's something on your brush, babe.
I'll just go and wipe my brush because there seems to be something on it. This is the first coat of 3 that we'll be doing in this dark grey as the border. Going, and we've got at least one more coat of the lighter grey to do. Yes, as we said, we've not really been doing anything on this, have we? Because we've finished our summer long adventure.
Yes.
Been out and about, done a few 100 miles on the boat, got to see some of the northwestern sections of the canal network, and had a really good time doing it.
Yes. And came home and we have a baby.
Yes, we are now grandparents. So Ben and Summer have had their little boy, called him Addison Edward.
There we are.
£6 9 ounces, born on the 15th of August. So yes, we are now proud grandparents. And this paint seems to be covering quite nicely.
Do you know what? It really is nice.
If anything, I think you might be putting just a touch too much on, as we are just getting a few little bits where it's running ever so slightly. So.
Okay. Probably putting as much on my roller as I would have for a full panel then, aren't
Yes. Just spread it around a little further.
Yeah.
So there will be overall probably 3 coats of this dark grey, certainly 2 and probably 3. And between each one of those, I will just give it a very light sanding with just something like a 400 grit wet and dry paper, just to smooth off each layer and key it up ready for the next one. So the overall colouring is going to be dark grey border, light grey centre panel, with the coach line that is currently the blue masking tape. We're not 100% sure as yet, are we?
We're undecided, aren't we?
We think we're going to keep that fairly neutral as well, but we're not sure on whether to go maybe black or another grey, or even just something like a cream or a white. So, any suggestions? Pop it in the comments. What colour should we do that coach line?
Yeah, 'cause we've seen some similar colours to ours that have had like reds and blues, and we're not over keen on them.
No, we don't. We've decided we don't really want to put a colour in there, as we think it can sometimes it just stands out like a sore thumb when you've got a fairly plain muted boat and then just one coach line of a particular colour.
Yeah.
Dawn's gone over the line.
Oh, Pete, just wipe it off now.
No, we'll get that with the next coat. It's all right.
Oh, right, bad.
All them years you'd have spent colouring in at primary school, and it's all gone to pot.
And I went over the line. Yeah, but I noticed how you went, Dawn's gone over the line.
I was making sure I pointed out who did it.
That it was me. Yeah. You kept one for team then, did you?
Nope. Threw you straight under the bus there. On the previous couple of videos, we've shown a lot of the painting technique that we're using here. As we say, it's called laying off. You use a small roller to put the paint on, and then a dry brush to drag through the paint and leave a nice smooth finish. If you've not seen the previous videos and want to see this laying off technique in more detail, I'll leave a link in the description below to one of those videos where you can look back and see just how it's done. However, on this video we'll just give the brief highlights as to what we were doing, so as not to bore everyone with lots more repetitive painting. At this point I was having to touch up the paintwork, because although we've not actually completed the paint job yet, I'd already managed to scratch it. Ironically, as we came through the very last lock on our journey home. When I'd put this window back in after we'd done the previous coat of paint, the paint obviously hadn't hardened fully and it stuck to the back of the window frame. So as I removed the window frame, it brought a little bit of paint with it, and therefore another touch up was required. To try and get the finish as smooth as possible, I used a 400 grit wet and dry paper between every coat of paint. Overall there's been 4 coats of primer, 3 coats of the light grey, and then also 3 coats of the dark grey all around the borders and on those side hatch doors. So not only should we get a nice finish to the boat, it should also be well protected for years to come. We'd now got to the point where we'd got those 3 coats of dark grey on, and it was a case of just getting the final coat of the light grey in place. Fingers crossed all this hard work has been worthwhile. It's now time to do the big reveal, Dawn, and this is where we work out if all our work has been worth it. We need to set the masking tape off that will be the couch line. So you're going to do that side, I'm going to do this side, and we'll see just what a clean edge, hopefully, it's left. Are you ready to peel?
No, it's already done. It's already coming out of those. Stanley blade.
Right. So we've had a minor issue there. Let's hope we don't get any worse. Seems to be a nice clean edge. What about yours?
Mine is just on that corner up there.
Yeah. Hopefully that corner we can just touch back in with
I'll paint it.
Tiny brush. As we will discuss on the next video, there are sort of several bits that we need to look at and tidy up and just do a bit of flattening off and things. And we do need to paint this couch line back in that we're peeling off now. There is also things like the windows need finishing off, the bits of trim and things. So although this is probably the last video of the actual painting, fingers crossed anyway, there will be kind of the finishing to the project. But yes, I'm quite happy with that.
I am. That's such a
It's
nice
a
edge.
very nice, clean, sharp edge. And like I said, just to clarify, where we've just peeled the tape off is going to be a border. We're thinking either cream or something, but as we've said, any suggestions, let us know. Now, I must say this masking tape, relatively speaking, is quite expensive, isn't it? Works out about £6 or £7 a roll, and we use nearly 2 rolls to mask the boat up on this side. But I think with how clear that edge is, I think it's well worth it.
What's happened over there?
I've just left a little bit of tape behind. I will get that shortly.